Hello and welcome to The Court Jester, the podcast that takes you on a wild ride through the most scandalous stories of the Middle Ages. I am Cleopatra, medievalist, storyteller, and your host. Today's story comes to us from a minstrel who wanted to be remembered. His name was Cortebarbe, and boy, what a tale he left us. But before we dive into it, I need to warn you. Cortebarbe was alive several centuries ago, and you might find his approach towards people with disabilities quite disturbing. Today's content warning is mostly that. The tale is ableist, the humor outdated and entirely insensitive, so if that's not your cup of tea, feel free to skip this one, I understand. But if you are curious and can enjoy a medieval story in context, then settle in. We are about to meet 3 blind men, a clever scholar, and one very expensive lunch. Let's start with the words of Cortebarbe himself. First, I will say something about the fabliau I'm laying out. That minstrel who turns his hand to composition and writes fine poems and fair accounts to be performed for dukes and counts, like I do, that minstrel shows his erudition. It's good to hear a fabliau. They dispel evil, they cure sorrow, and many others' life stings and barbs. This fabliau is mine, and I think its memory won't fail. Outside Compiègne, says our tale, 3 blind men were making their way. They didn't even have a boy to guide them, so that they could know which path to take, which way to turn. Each had their own beggar's cup, and they were clothed in rags. Thus, down the road the 3 progressed towards Senlis, where they were going. Coming from Paris, they ran into a most knowledgeable scholar, a man who knew many things, both good and bad. He was travelling with a pack horse and a servant lad, and as the group rode past the 3 blind men at great speed, the wise man noticed that no one was guiding their steps. He wondered, how could the 3 find their way? Surely one of them must see. And thus he took it upon himself to find out, and he thought, if I can't find the answer, let my body be raked with gout. The blind men, hearing someone ride their way, hurriedly stepped aside and called out, "Give us charity! We are reduced to poverty. A man who's lost his sight is always in great need, my lord." The scholar quickly saw that he could trick them, and he got an idea. "Here," he said, "have one of my gold coins for all of you to spend." "May God and the Holy Cross send you blessings, my lord. What a fine gift," said the 3 blind men, in chorus, each one of them thinking one of the others took the coin. The scholar turned his horse about, for he was very curious to see how that would go. The leader of the 3 then said, "We weren't abused, chased, or upbraided. Instead, this man gave us 1 gold coin. What finer gift could a man want? Do you know what I think we should do next? We should go back to Compiègne. It's been so long since we've had any kind of pleasure, and now we can afford it, so I say let's go back to Compiègne that's stocked with luxuries and take advantage of our treasure." The 2 others couldn't argue with how great this idea was, and so they headed back to Compiègne again, laughing all the way. The scholar followed shortly after, determined to stay close by, just to see how this trick will go. So they reached the town and heard a man go up and down proclaiming loudly through the square, "We have wines from Soissons and d'Auxerre, the latest vintage, and to eat we have bread and pasties and fish and meat. If you have cash to spend, here is where to spend it. Whoever comes here will be befriended. There's no better place to stay in the entire city." The 3 blind men did not think twice, but went right up to the man and right up to the establishment and found the owner. And one of them told him, "Listen, and be forewarned, and do not be put off by our shabby clothing. We will spend more recklessly than any person looking chic and posh. We're here to celebrate. We want a room for just us 3. The innkeeper knew that a beggar's earning can be great, and so he believed them, and very readily received them. "Come on upstairs, my lords," he said. "You can spend very pleasantly in my accommodations. All of the world's delicacies are yours. You only have to ask." "Good, sir," said the 3 blind men. "Then let's get to it and make sure we are served copiously." "Leave that to me," the host replies, and goes to order them a feast. 5 heaping courses at least they had. There was pâté, there was roast rooster, meat and bread, expensive wines, a spread worthy of a nobleman was sent upstairs, and extra charcoal for their fire. Meanwhile, the scholar's servant went to the stable, to stable their horses and take rooms for them in the same inn. The scholar soon made friends with the host, who was impressed by the man's manners and beautiful clothing. The 2 of them together ate the morning meal, and then they had lunch, all the while listening to the blind men upstairs, who were served like nobility and making a great ruckus. And they really lived it up. You pour for me, I pour for you. They could hear it from downstairs. Let's toast the winemaker and his crew. Without a single care in the world, the 3 blind men revelled on till late at night. Their beds were made, and they went to sleep till late the following morning. The scholar remained close by to see the ending of his joke. But the owner and the servant woke up early and figured out a statement of what was owed to them in payment. Quite honestly, the servant says, just the bread, the wine, and the pâtés come to 10 shillings in the least, because they certainly did feast. And it should be 5 more for the scholar, I think. I'm not concerned about the scholar, said the owner. He will pay up. Just go collect from the other 3. Those are the precarious ones. The servant went up to the room where the blind men were staying, and told them that their host wished to be paid, and they should get dressed in a hurry. They answered, there's no need to worry. We will pay everything we own. Just tell us how much it is. That would be 10 shillings, said the boy. And so they all rise, and find their way downstairs, and tell their host, do you have change from a gold coin? Because we do have that, and we will not spend any more until we get proper change, so that we know how much left we have to spend. That's fine with me, says the host, I definitely have change. Well, okay then, said the 3 blind men. Whoever has it, pay the man. Well, I don't have it, says the first one. Well, I don't have it, says the second. Bob must have taken it. No, he didn't, says Bob. I don't have it. One of you has it. I swear to God, I have no coin, said the second. Then who? Well, it must be you. Well, I don't have it. One of you pay up, or I will thrash all 3 of you, you thieving lordlings, says the host, and I'll throw you all into the cesspool before I let you go away. Good sir, be merciful, they say. For God's sake, we'll pay you. Bob, give him the coin. It's always you who leads the way. You must have gotten it. Well, I did not get it, and you are the one who was with the scholar last, so he must have given it to you because I didn't get it. What is this scam? Are you plotting to cheat me? Cries the host, and lets one have it on the jaw, and goes to get 2 stout sticks for the rest of them. Amused and shaking with laughter, the scholar, who is seeing all this, and is also really loaded, goes straight up to the host and asks him, what distresses you? These 3 owe me 10 shillings, the host says, for food and drink and for their bed, and now they think they can stiff me. They'll curse the day they grappled with me. A beating will settle their score just fine. It is a sin to harm the poor, the scholar says. You can add their amount to my bill. It's going to be 15 on me, and I will settle it in their account. Well, so be it, said the host. You are a man of integrity, and I genuinely don't care who pays me as long as I get paid. Thus were the 3 blind men redeemed. And you would think that this is the end of it, but no. Now the scholar wants to get himself out of that payment altogether. So he heard the church bells ring to announce Mass, and turned to his host and said, Say, you must know the priest of your church. Can he be trusted for 15 shillings if I entrust him to service my debt? I have no doubt, sir, he'll keep his word, says the innkeeper. I would trust him for 30. Well, in that case, let's say that I have settled all accounts here once I return from church, and you will be paid by the priest. The innkeeper has no objections. The scholar's servant went to the stables, and by order of his master, harnessed the horses and packed their bags, and did his absolute best to waste no time. Now come with me, says the scholar to the innkeeper. So the 2 went together to the church to look for the priest. The scholar took the innkeeper by the hand and led him to a bench, where they both sat down and told him, I can't hang around here until Mass is over, because I have things to do, but I will see that your bill is paid. I will go now and talk to the priest, and I'll tell him that as soon as he is through with Mass, he is to pay you the 15 shillings for my bill. Arrange it as you want, says the innkeeper. I absolutely trust you and him. The priest arrived, and the scholar went straight to him. He was evidently most skillful at misleading people. He seemed like a man of breeding, and his face looked ever so innocent. And so he started talking to the priest as he was handing him 12 pence from his purse. "Father," he said, "if my coming up here offends you, please forgive me, and I'll keep it short. It happened last night that I stayed at an inn. The host, sweet Jesus Christ protect his soul, the host was stricken with a malady, a cruel affliction of the brain, which made him act as if insane while we were partying last night. He seems okay for now, thank God, although his head is still aching. Would you read a chapter of the Gospel over the man's head? It is known to cure such maladies." "Of course I will," said the priest right after Mass. The scholar returned to his host, said it was getting late and he must go, and the priest stepped forth to say High Mass. The church was full because it was a Sunday morning, so they didn't wait. The scholar went back to the inn, straight to the stables, and rode away. The host set off for church, expecting 15 shillings from the priest. The host waited until Mass was done, and immediately after the service, the priest went to retrieve his holy book and spotted him. "Come, Nicholas, come, down on your knees," he called. But his words did not please the innkeeper. "I'm not here to get down on my knees," he said. "Now pay me 15 shillings, father." "I see the fever struck again," said the priest. "Father in heaven, let this poor sinner be forgiven. Now I can tell he's lost his senses." "Just listen to this priest's pretenses," the innkeeper exclaimed. "You want to rob me blind? And what do you think you're doing with that book?" "I'll tell you," the priest says. "My dear sweet friend, come what may, take my word, if you have faith in the Lord, you will surely be cured of that affliction that's tormenting you." He placed the gospel on the innkeeper's skull and tried to read from the holy book, but the innkeeper would not have it. "I've work to do. Stop playing games and give me my money." The priest did not find that funny, and he summoned his parish, who obeyed and faithfully flocked to his aid. He told them, "Hold him on the ground, for I'm sure his mind is unsound." "I'm not crazy. Now pay me my money. I will not be cheated like this," the innkeeper cried out. "Do not let him go," said the priest, and his parishioners all did their best to keep the man immobile, tried to calm his fears with soothing words and hold his arms in place. The priest brought forth the book and held it over the man's skull and read out the gospel in full from end to end, convinced of the man's folly, and sprinkled him with holy water just for good measure. As for the innkeeper, at this point he thought a quick escape would please him the most, so as soon as they loosened their grip he ran away, the priest behind him signing the cross in benediction and praying to God to cure his affliction. Despite his anger and his shame, the host kept quiet all the same, perceiving that he had been tricked, but at this point he was just glad to get away. Cortebarbe thinks that you'll agree that guiltless men often get punished. So ends my tale. Now it is finished. You wanted fame and memory, Cortebarbe, and here we are many centuries later, still telling your story in ways you could not even imagine. And you, dear listener, if you enjoyed the story and would like some more, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and leave a review for The Court Jester on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts. And spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your medieval studies professor. Definitely tell your medieval studies professor. And lastly, if you think you would like to support the podcast and help me get a sense of achievement, head over to Patreon. For as little as £1, you will get access to bonus episodes, extra material, and the warm and fuzzy feeling of being a part of this nonsense. Links to everything and to my sources are below. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.